silver on FBI and Interpol watch list over $14.8 million probe. Details now. Thank you for staying tuned. The world news at 12 begins with the Nigerian military intensifying land and air operations in parts of the north following a threat by United States President Donald Trump to consider deploying American forces to Nigeria over alleged killings of Christians. Trump, in a recent post on his Truth Social platform, said he had directed the U.S. Department of War to prepare for possible action if the alleged persecution continued. He also warned that the U.S. could suspend all aid to Nigeria if the Tinubu administration failed to act. Meanwhile, rival terrorist factions have engaged in violent clashes in the northern region. More than 50 fighters were reportedly killed in a confrontation between Boko Haram and the Islamic State of West Africa province ISWAP over territorial control in Abadam local government area of Borno State. The clash occurred on Sunday evening in Tombom, Guinea, an island community, after ISWAP launched an offensive to reclaim the area recently seized by Boko Haram. A video shows bloodied bodies floating in a canoe with fighters chanting, suggesting that Boko Haram repelled the ISWAP attackers. Local sources said ISWAP deployed about 10 high-powered watercraft to launch the attack, but were ambushed by Boko Haram operatives who had prior intelligence of the operation. Over 50 ISWAP fighters were reportedly killed and 7 of their boats were seized. 3 boats escaped with casualties. It remains unclear whether ISWAP will launch a counterattack. Efforts to reach spokesperson for Operation Hadinkai, Lieutenant Colonel Ubasani, were unsuccessful. The clash happened hours after troops of the 135 Special Forces Battalion 2 Operation Hadinkai foiled a Boko Haram ambush on civilians in Dutse Kura, rescuing 86 victims and arresting 29 suspected logistics suppliers. Former Minister of Interior, Lieutenant General Abdul Rahman Bello Dambazao, retired on Monday, decried the high level of insecurity in northern Nigeria, saying it has reached a level where bandits and insurgents have taken over some communities, tax and make new laws for them. The retired Chief of Army Staff at the first Media and Security Summit held in Birni Kebbi State with the theme Existential Threat and National Security, said the insecurity issue in the north has existed for over 2 decades. He urged northern governors to establish the Ministry of Mineral Resources and liaise with relevant federal agencies to harness their natural resources, improve their revenue base to end poverty in their respective state, and reduce the level of insecurity. He also said to address the spate of killings occasioned by insecurity in the north, the respective state government must restore the dignity of the traditional institution, improve agriculture, which the north is known for, address the issue of out-of-school children, and embrace social inclusion. Former Secretary to the Government of the Federation, SGF Babachir Lawal, has accused the federal government of failing to tackle the security challenges in the country. Lawal, who served as SGF under the administration of late President Muhammadu Buhari, specifically said President Bola Tinubu's government is not interested in tackling insecurity. The former SGF compared the current administration to previous governments of Goodluck Jonathan and Muhammadu Buhari, saying the latter performed better than the former. He argued that before Tinubu came on board, Adamawa, a northeastern state, was relatively peaceful. He, however, claimed that 2 years into the administration, the security situation had worsened. He lamented that some Nigerian soldiers were being killed in the theater of operations, calling for decisive action to address the insecurity. Let's take a listen to Babachir Lawal speaking on this issue.
When you classify something as evil, it's relative to what is not, isn't it? It is. So by calling them relative as evil government, it's relative to past governments that we've had, implying that past governments were better, were more accommodating. In the sense of equity in the system, in the sense of intention to fight corruption, in the sense of being fair and just, even in the sense of security. Whatever happened, Goodluck Jonathan fought insecurity. He did. He was not so successful at it. Buhari took over and did. This government are not interested in that. Before this government came into government, Adamawa State was peaceful. Small skirmishes in border areas with Borno State, yes, but completely peaceful. Now we can go to our farms, except for a small area in my local government which borders Sambisa Forest. There's no more this. Sometimes, occasionally, they come down from the mountains, the in Madagali and maybe come down and forage for food, and anybody they come find on the way, they attack him physically. But Adamawa is extremely relatively peaceful now, and this government made it that way. Time Buhari was leaving, Adamawa was completely peaceful. Now there are some skirmishes, like in my local government. Suddenly there are some people now coming to invade lands, drive out the people, kill them, and so on and so forth. But it wasn't like that before. During Buhari's time, it was not like that.
The federal government is exploring the possibility of securing the transfer of former Deputy Senate President Senator Ekweremadu, who is serving a 9-year sentence in a UK prison for organ harvesting. A high-level delegation from Nigeria was dispatched to the United Kingdom on Monday to engage British authorities. The delegation, which met with officials at the UK Ministry of Justice in London earlier on Monday, included Nigeria's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Yusuf Maitama-Tuga, and the Attorney General and Minister for Justice, Lateef Fagbemi. The team was later received at the Nigerian High Commission in London by Ambassador Mohammed Maidugu, the acting High Commissioner to the United Kingdom. According to credible sources, the meeting formed part of President Bola Tinubu's efforts to secure either Ekweremadu's early release or a review of his sentence on humanitarian and legal grounds. Officials familiar with the talks said the Nigerian government is seeking to open discussions around possible prisoner transfer arrangements, compassionate parole, or other relief permitted under UK law. Meanwhile, social critic and activist Mahdi Shehu has alleged that President Bola Tinubu's sudden move to secure the release of former Deputy Senate President from a UK prison is politically motivated and tied to preparations for the 2027 general elections. In a post shared on his official X account today, Shehu claimed that President Tinubu's recent decision to set up a high-powered committee to engage the UK government over Ekweremadu's imprisonment was not driven by compassion but by political strategy. According to him, the president suddenly woke up from his diplomatic slumber and remembered Ekweremadu, who has been in prison since his conviction in 2023 for organ trafficking. Shehu noted that Tinubu's decision came despite Nigeria currently lacking a substantive ambassador to the UK, who he said could have handled the matter more effectively through regular diplomatic channels. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has declared former Minister of State for Petroleum Resources Tinubu Silva wanted over an alleged $14.8 million fraud. In a public notice on Monday, EFCC spokesperson Dele Oyewale said the funds were provided by the Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board, NCDMB, to Atlantic International Refinery and the Petrochemical Limited. Senior officials of the commission confirmed that Silva has also been placed on the watch list of the United States Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, Interpol, the United Kingdom Metropolitan Police and security agencies in Canada and other countries. His special assistant on media and publicity, Julius Bokoru, said the former minister is currently in the United Kingdom. Oyewale noted that the EFCC obtained a federal high court warrant for Tinubu Silva's arrest in Lagos on November 6. Justice D.I. Dikbeolu issued the order directing security agencies to arrest the former minister and present him before the EFCC to answer to the allegations. This development comes 27 days after the House of Reps resolved to investigate the alleged mismanagement of a $35 million investment by the NCDMB in a modular refinery project in the Niger Delta that was never completed. The National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, will begin the enforcement of the ban on the production and sale of alcoholic beverages in sachets and small bottles below 200 milliliters by December 2025. NAFDAC Director General Mojisola Adeyeye gave the directive during a press briefing in Abuja on Tuesday. She noted that the ban is not punitive but protective and aimed at safeguarding the health and future of our children and youth, warning that no further extension will be entertained beyond December 2025. You're listening to the World News at 12 right here on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. I'm now being joined by Mr. Elvis Elimihele for the news analysis segment. How are you doing, Mr. Elvis? Thank you for joining us today.
I'm doing good, Choma. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you. I'm also being joined by Honorable Shedrack Udugbai. He was the SA to the Youth Affairs to Governor Godwin Obaseki, who's former governor of Edo State. He's your brother, Mr. Elvis. How are you doing, Honorable Udugbai? Good afternoon to you, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon. It's a pleasure being here with you.
All right, thank you so much. Mr. Elvis, can you hear him?
Absolutely.
All right, then let's get right into the conversation. While we're talking about all the issues happening in Nigeria today, there is a breaking story that again the court has stopped the PDP from holding its 2025 convention and has stopped INEC from recognizing the outcome. This is the second time that the Federal High Court in Abuja has restrained the PDP from holding its 2025 national convention, which was scheduled for November 15 and 16, about 4 to 5 days in Ibadan. The court also barred INEC from supervising, monitoring, or recognizing the outcome of the convention where national officers are expected to be elected. The Anambra State governorship elections held on November 8 and PDP scored 1,401 votes. We were talking about it yesterday and many Nigerians said, how did PDP become such a grass that the elephants can fight on? How did PDP become such a carpet that everyone can trample on? To the extent that a party which used to be very strong in Nigerian politics is having just 1,401 votes in a gubernatorial election. I'd like to come to you, Honorable Shedrack Dubai. That's your party, or have you left the PDP?
Yes. No, I have not. Though there are plans to leave, but we have not able to.
Oh, Honorable Shadrach, I can hardly hear you. The line is breaking terribly. Hello, Honorable, are you there? Honorable Shadrach, can you hear me? You know what? Let me try to call you back. The network is very, very terrible as at this moment. But that's Honorable Shedrack Dugba. He was special advisor on youth affairs to Governor Godwin, former Governor of Edo State, Governor Godwin Obaseki. What do you make of what's happening with the PDP before we go back to Honorable Shedrack?
It's becoming very laughable and dramatic, Choma. That, like you said, a party that once boasted to this nation that they were going to rule us for 60 years. Unfortunately, they had 16 years in office before they were thrown out by the current ruling party, APC. Now, you're talking of Anambra State in 1999 to 2003, when Dr. Chinwoke Ubadinuju became the first governor of Anambra State under this Fourth Republic, under PDP. That same Anambra today, we also had Dr. Igige coming in as in 2023 to take over from Chiba Badinuju as governor of Anambra State before the court took him off. That same Anambra today is what we are talking about, that they could only garner 1,000 votes. It's so laughable. That's to tell you that nothing stays forever. Even this one we are seeing with APC, everybody joining in the APC now. A day is coming when this same APC will become history in this nation. So nothing lasts forever. So that's to tell you that the power belongs to the people, one, and that power is transient. It doesn't remain with one person. So anybody that is so arrogant with power at the moment now should know that the day of reckoning is coming, and it's very, very close. Because if it doesn't come either by people rejecting them, it will come either by implosion within the party. What's actually happening in PDP now is that the people rejected them and implosion came in. And that implosion is what we are seeing now, that we are getting so many court cases, left, right, center. Even when the court has told us before in this nation that anything that has to do with political parties' problem within the party is an internal affair.
Is that to say that judiciary is also part
so
of the PDP's problem?
Yes, that's where I'm going. Because that was the judgment we got from Supreme Court. The Supreme Court said, no, it's your internal affair. No interloper should come in. But unfortunately, we are seeing lower courts now, issuing a counter orders and all that, all in the name to just make sure that PDP just go completely down the drain and off the radar. But let's see what happens, because I know that there is also court cases that even the PDP too has filed to see whether the convention can stay for 15 and 16 as scheduled. But if that doesn't happen, I think the party has a long way to go.
All right, then let's hear from Honorable Shedrack Udubai on the situation with the PDP right about now. How exactly is the judiciary contributing to the problem of the PDP? Honorable.
Yes.
All right.
I didn't get the question.
Yes, let's talk about this. Mr. Elvis seems to believe that the judiciary is contributing to the problems of the PDP because the Supreme Court has said whatever is happening in a party is that's their own internal problems, and the court should not be ruling on it. Can we really blame the court for ruling on a case that was brought before them? We have seen how Samuel Anyanwu and the others, how they've been going back and forth on who's supposed to be the head, who's supposed to be the national chairman, who's supposed to be the national secretary of the party. How is that the fault of the court? You're still a part of the PDP. You've been saying you want to leave for a while, but you have not yet left. What is it within the party that is still keeping you there?
Personally, the challenge we have with the party is that there are lacunas, there are loopholes within the Nigerian electoral process, the way partisan politics being organized and coordinated, the role of the judiciary in administering justice in inter-party affairs. The question, it doesn't even have bad. It is even worse than that. You see the idea whereby we buy a form to contest for a position, let's say the House, the Senate, and I will buy another form to contest for presidential elections, and I'll go and run for the primaries presidential that will take place any day, and I will come back, and my name will not be brought to the INEC as the senatorial candidate who did not attend party primaries. We go to court, and the court says it's an internal party affair. That's the height of it. To say that you can be in your house, Chioma, you without even buying card, without buying form, as long as your name is submitted to INEC, the court will say, as long as you were submitted, that the primaries is an internal party affair. And that is, it's not just with that, there's no issue with INEC too. All of these things are lacuna. It is this lacuna, these holes, these loopholes that the establishment has seen, the APC, that they are now using to ensure that they peg the party to the ground. And they've been using hands like yes or weekend. Because we see people who, to large extent, have the capacity to fund party affairs, who have fought the entire past, and they are still funding to ensure that people become the
Honorable Dugbai, the PDP is still blaming the APC for its problems when it's the one who seems not to be putting its house in order. Wike is still a member of the party. A number of people feel that Umar Damagum should also not be a member of the party. These are people who should have been pushed out before now. If the PDP is really serious about being a viable opposition in Nigerian politics. Right now, the PDP has just about 7 or 8 governors. You've seen a lot of governors leaving the PDP in the past few months. So how exactly is the PDP still hoping to convince Nigerians that it is a party to reckon with?
That is why we who are still members of the PDP have come to see that when we are patient enough. If the commission does not, what's keeping us in the commission does not, and we are able to get some bread with the system, we have no other option but to leave. But before then, we want to see that we make our last ditch effort to contribute in resuscitating the party. The fact that there's PK and there are a few other political elements who are funding the party against its own growth and development. That's some other pull and pull factor that we also look at. We saw Governor Deleke a few days ago came out and said he was supporting Tinubu for a second term. He didn't do that because he loved Tinubu or because he was pleased with his democratic tendency. He understood and he saw what happened in Edo State because Tinubu has proven beyond reasonable doubt that he has the knife, he has the yam, he has the wherewithal to collect any mandate. He's desperate about seeding governors into the APC and will do anything to retain his seat in office. This man, the Anambra State Governor, Chasoludo won because he's an APC member at the national level and an Afghan member at the state level. That's why his way was clear and easy.
You are saying there was President Tinubu's influence in the Anambra State governorship elections?
Yes, people blame him to return. And that's why I'm saying that even if you have the support of the people, your people love you, for you, they support you. Tinubu can write the results, bring the Department of State Security, the Air Force, the police. They will handle your state, write the results, and declare results. There's no reflection what happened in the polls. And they will need to go to court. There's nothing you can do. We have seen that happen every single time. So many of the politicians who are within the system, they are scared to their marrow. That if they are not willing to, what do you stand to gain? And yet they are begging you and appealing to you to come to their party and willing to increase the benefits you will get, and yet support you in your re-election. Why go against the grain? That has been the major problem we had. If the way APC was, the way PDP is now, the way APC is now being coordinated, the desperation they are using in fighting the opposition was I could look at Jonathan for the APC at his concession. They would have not been like APC, they would not be like opposition. Today there's practically no opposition. Both Labour Party, both Nigerian Labour Party, both PDP. It's only the APC that narrowly escaped because of the likes of big juggernauts like Atiku Abubakar, the Rufai, and many other persons who came together. And yet, there's still opposition within the system. Because all the former governorship presidential aspirants come out to make some baseless and unprintable statements about him being a national chair, about him being controlling the party, a mere candidate. So we've seen this thing happen. We can't come and deceive ourselves. There's nobody that will come and tell you this was obtainable when it's not in reality. Tinubu will help us on ensuring that Nigeria does not have another option. Either whether he performs well or not, he wants to be the president of 2027. And the easiest way to do it is to ensure there's only one on the ballot. Or perhaps no one other person has the coverage. Peter Bina does not have a party. He's either a Labour Party or an ADC. He's practically stranded. And that's the ploy, simply the ploy of Tinubu and his desperation. So it's not just to do with the PDP alone or to do with the party. The PDP, they've got the tactics they're using for the PDP. There's a tactics they're using for the Labour Party. There's another tactics they're using for the Nigerian Party. They are all spread across. And they show to you that even if you to proceed alone in opposition, they have the wherewithal to deal with you, whether in the election, whether in the INEC, whether in the judiciary, they have the nerve, they have the yam. In such a situation, if you were a governor or if you were a political stakeholder that was being lobbied to come over to the party, what would have been your decision?
All right. Honorable Shadrach Dugba, you're claiming that the incumbent president is very desperate to hold on to power. Some political analysts might agree with you on that particular score, especially with the recent reports we've been getting about the federal government pushing for Ekweremadu, that's former Deputy Senate President, to be transferred back to Nigeria. You will recall that in 2023, it was a case that made the headlines when it was reported that he took someone to the UK to harvest that person's organs and give to his own ailing daughter. He and his wife and the doctor who was facilitating that procedure, they were given varying jail terms actually. And right now, yesterday, we saw pictures, we saw videos whereby a high-powered delegation was sent to the UK seemingly to talk with UK authorities to see how they can review his sentence. We're hearing that it's on humanitarian and legal grounds. But Mahdi Shehu, who is a social critic and an activist who in January this year was slammed with terrorism charges, is coming out to say that this is a political strategy by the president for 2027. How exactly is bringing him back a political strategy?
If the president was bold enough to release drug dealers, established drug lords, criminals, Boko Haramis, jihadists, murderers from the prison, just to sink them back into the society, to create an army, allegedly in the election.
You know they've not been released, Honorable Shadrach Dubai. It was just the list that was compiled, and a number of people have been taken off that list after an outcry by Nigerians.
No, do we need to cry for the president to think with his head? Do we need to cry for them to know what is good? So if we had not cried, they would have released hoodlums, criminals, touts, murderers to the society to come and re-kill us. You know the effort it takes for the average Nigerian policeman to catch and persecute, investigate and put behind bars one criminal, let alone the governor with the president will wish fully. And what was his agenda? Why did they want them released? I don't understand you. What was the grain behind the adjustments? And the ones they've removed, on what basis will they release? See, we can begin to make some bets to defend them, to make it look as though these people know what they are doing. It's just pure desperation. Ekweremadu, and they are calculating. The pendulum is swinging. They do not know what to do with the case of Nnamdi Kanu. The man appears to be growing restless by the day, and sooner or later they will have to decide whether to jail him or to release him. And if the pendulum swings the other way for the release, the man will be a thorn in the flesh. So they are calculating how best to consolidate their position in the southeast. To see perhaps they have the likes of Opus Odima, who is really already tear down the state to deliver him. They've invested a few governors, only the other one that is left now. Sooner or later it will be invested. But they are calculating who do we need to gather, because for them it's a thing of stakeholder. The people don't matter, the people don't have votes. Get the man who is an influencer in the local government or in the community. Once you get that man to the APC, we'll give him the tools, because the finances are there. There's no more force subsidy, we have the money. We have come out to remove the fuel subsidy. We floated the dollar. There is money for the presidency to run anybody amok. So once we get a head man who has the influence, who has the courage, give him the resources, he will deliver APC, either by hook or by crook. That is their strategy, purely on stakeholder basis. So if they don't want to bring the case, because decided that man has some influence somewhere that will be useful for them. It is not born out of compassion, it is born out of political desperation and the desire to ensure that they get as much vote as they want. Because if Tinubu clears all the SARS, because there's no guarantee that we secure the winning vote in the vote, because the internal will be predicted. Things is free because it's now his desperation to improve only the lot of Yorubas. And as such, the average Jotana will see it as he wanted to empower Satanas and not just Yorubas in particular. So he wants to buy all the governors in the South and hold the South in firm grip and use it as a tool to whip the North into line. But we are also working. That is why we are ensuring that the opposition are banded together to bring a tickle from the North, so that we too also unite the North and able to correct the mistake, the disaster called Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
All right, then, because of the network issue, I want to quickly talk to you about the insecurity. Former Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Babachir Lawal, has said on the Monitor television program that President Tinubu is absolutely not interested in fighting insecurity. He talked about how Jonathan was doing a good job until Buhari came in, and Buhari tried his best, but that now with this present administration, insecurity, it will be very difficult for us to fight insecurity. Now, Nigeria's insecurity has caught the attention of international players. With US President Donald Trump, you know the threats he made, saying, oh, we might send people in if you will not stop killing Christians. For him, it's a Christian genocide happening in Nigeria. But for many Nigerians who agree or not whether there's a Christian genocide, the truth remains that people are being killed for no just cause. Do you agree with Babachir Lawal that President Tinubu is not interested in ending insecurity? Especially as we're hearing that terrorists, they are taking places, they are renaming communities, they are making laws and collecting taxes from Nigerians. Terrorists are fighting for supremacy in a sovereign nation. What do we make of that?
It is clear, there is preponderance of evidence to show that Bola Ahmed Tinubu is totally indifferent in the war against security. If not for the threats, perhaps when the threat of Donald Trump came in, they panicked for a couple of days, and later they started putting boots to the streets, and they started he made provision that there's going to be some fast military equipment that will be deployed to fight. So we had to wait. He had to wait to be threatened before he made any responsible move. So if it's a man who had promised to put an end to insecurity and actually came on board and made that move to put an end to insecurity, who would have waited for the to threaten him? And perhaps we've not seen any of those decisive actions. What we're seeing is white elephant projects, majorly in Lagos and a few other parts of the nation. And for him, it's just resource control, double taxation, reallocation of the tax laws, increasing tariffs, removing subsidy, getting more money for federal government, and ensuring that the people are impoverished, so that the gap between the rich and the poor will continue to widen. The political elite will going to have more money to ensure that the people are kept in perpetual bondage. Tinubu is not interested. We've not seen any drastic move. What he has done is to, even in time he reshuffled the military, or because he had the allegation of a coup being made, he has not reshuffled the military because he wanted, or perhaps they were not performing well, or they were not handling security properly. But when he heard there was a coup, he quickly made move to reshuffle everybody. The man is an abysmal failure when it comes to insecurity. He has done nothing. When it comes to insecurity and the economy, the man has failed woefully. All of his policies he has put on ground to tell us to wait, that the thing will soon materialize, that there's incubation period. But the poverty, the hardship, the cluelessness, there's no incubation period. Once they make a clueless policy today, we get the hardship tomorrow almost immediately. But when they make a good policy to solve the problem, we now have to wait for 6 months or 1 year for the policy to materialize, which is just a shame. Because they have many persons, or no, they have money, so they bought every voice that is audible, every media house. Today you can't even criticize Tinubu on some media stations. You can't even talk about Wike, because Wike is the one. That's the problem we have in the PDP. There's nothing you publish about Wike that will fly. He's the biggest sponsor of the Nigerian media. I can take it anywhere. The man does what he calls media pally, spends hundreds of millions. And yes, they are singing his praises everywhere. There's no editor, I dare say, that will publish anything on National Daily that goes contrary to what to Wike's interest, because they will get advert, they will hound him in the ministry. They will call him for the next press briefing. So this is the way they have hijacked the system. The way they have interpreted, Tinubu is not interested. He's not interested at all. Maybe, I don't know. I thought perhaps if since we had a president that was not a Fulani irredentist, was not a jihadist, was not a Konotana, and perhaps was seen to be a big powered, a senior stakeholder who does not count to the wishes and caprices of some other leaders who want to make strong decisions, decisive actions, and at least put an end to insecurity. Because the thing has gone beyond just the north, it has encroached to the south. For us, there's kidnapping. Those is not safe. The clueless governor they gave us here can't do anything about security. What we see here is that the man is just jumping up and down, fighting the previous administration, destroying his project. Tomorrow night we're celebrating 305 days. 305 days of wasted days. 305 days of failure. APC has not done anything. As long as you are praising Tinubu, promising 3.5 million votes, or 12 million, or you are working in line with his re-election bid, you are good to go. Any other thing is second. Every other thing is inconsequential. That's what we found ourselves, and it's very sad. The man is not interested. If he was interested, would have known long ago.
Honorable Shadrach Dugbai, I must thank you for your time. I really do appreciate you for joining us today. It's always a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your day. Mr. Elvis Elimihele, thank you for staying with us. You heard everything that your brother from Edo State has said. We know that the former SGF worked with the APC government of former late President Muhammadu Buhari. He's coming out now to tell us that this current APC government is moving like a failure, or is a failure, or they're not interested in fighting the insecurity. We are seeing more reports of our troops decimating terrorist camp, destroying handouts, rescuing people. But one thing I saw, was it not last week, was they put out, the Nigerian Army verified handle on Twitter, put out a picture saying, no, these people were just rescued from kidnappers, were just rescued from terrorists. And then when you do an image search of that picture, it happened to be that the picture that they posted was from 9 months ago. So are we fighting a war of propaganda, or are these terrorists actually being decimated? Yes, they when the videos of ISWAP and Boko Haram fighting each other came out, a lot of people made it to mean that, oh, the prayers of Nigerians are working when the enemies are fighting each other. All we need to do is sit back and watch. While some are saying, is this not a time for the military to actually go all in when it seems that these two camps are fighting each other? When it comes to insecurity, will Nigerians ever have a reprieve?
Absolutely no. We have not started, Choma. You know, in our sister station this morning, I said this can only happen in a failed state. And Nigerians are happy that insurgents are fighting themselves when we have a functional armed forces. We still have a sitting president who is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. So we are now happy that the insurgents are fighting themselves in a country that calls itself a sovereignty and an independent nation. So there is another government within a government in the country. What do you call that? That's a failed state. So Nigerians are happy now that the insurgents are now battling themselves, when we are supposed to have our own armed forces to crush every external aggression or even internal insurrection. So what are we talking about? It's just that, unfortunately, this is where we find ourselves. If you are talking about this government or APC government ready to fight insecurity, just drop that idea. It's absolutely no. We in 2015, when Buhari was being painted as the messiah that will end this insecurity, everybody was like, oh, he's a retired major general. Oh, he fought Matisina War, and he's coming to fight Boko Haram. We saw 8 years of Buhari. If there's anything for Nigeria to remember Buhari for, is Nigeria will only remember Buhari's administration for 8 years as the worst government this nation have ever had. In all ramifications, it drew Nigeria backwards. Is it in the electoral system? Is it in insecurity? Is it in economy? Any form of you can think of, Buhari's government is a total failure. Now we have seen Tinubu. Tinubu told us when he was campaigning that he was going to continue from where Buhari stopped. So what do you now expect from Tinubu? So tomorrow is like they start telling us, oh, they never expected that the decay was this bad. Let me tell you, Tinubu has been in this nation since this democracy started 26 years ago. He has had the opportunity of being in Lagos as governor for 8 years. And he has been the godfather of Lagos State since 1999 date. You know, bringing in everybody that is elected position for this Lagos State, from governor down to local government councillors. Then you want to tell me that he doesn't know the problem we are going through in this nation? When he was there in 2012 on the street protesting against the government of former President Goodluck Jonathan, What is new to him that what is new to him now that he want to use as an excuse to tell Nigerians, oh, that they met a decay situation? Those are flimsy excuses. It's just that APC is just a party of propaganda, and they only know how to do that best. We saw when Lai Mohammed was the chief propagandist in this world and brought them into power, and they continue from there, and that's what we are seeing. So APC cannot give Nigerians the desired result in any ramification, whether security, insecurity, whether economy, whether welfare for you and I, in any form. So just leave that at Choma.
Let's quickly talk about the EFCC declaring former Bayelsa State Governor and also the former Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Temipre Silva, wanted, saying there is an alleged for $14.8 million. Mr. Elvis, one thing that occurs to me when we call out these monies is it seems so big in the ears of Nigerians that we cannot really understand what these monies can do for us. $14.8 million.
Just tell you that we live in a rich country.
How many hospital equipment
Yes.
can this money buy?
Yeah.
How many schools will it build? How many weapons will it buy for the military? Right? We've been doing turnaround maintenance for our refineries for so long. If we channel this money into the proper sources,
And even build a new one.
wouldn't it do something better for Nigerians?
Absolutely.
But then this is coming after we heard that, oh, his house was raided after being one of the sponsors of the coup and all of that. What exactly seems to be the reason why the EFCC or the Nigerian government is going after Temipre Silva? Is there something about it that we don't know? Was he the sponsor of a coup? Did he really misappropriate $14.8 million? Or is there something else? Because we've not really heard him so much. It's not as if he's part of the ADC. Or he's part of any of other political party right now.
Just leave out the news of EFCC declaring him wanted. That's no news. Have you not heard Yaya Bello declared wanted in this nation? What is the outcome of it? The news is that Nigerian government should come up, pump and play, and tell Nigerians the truth. Temipre Silva is just being declared wanted because he has been fingered in the alleged coup. Even though Nigeria government kept denying that there is no coup.
So no money is missing.
No, forget.
Or maybe that the whole coup conversation now led to them looking closely into him.
I'm not saying there's no money missing. Silva has left office 2 years plus. Is it today EFCC just woke up and I know that $14.something million is missing? Is it today? If there was no coup allegation against him, nobody would have mentioned this money, Choma. It would have just still been the same way that Nigerians go with free loot from this nation. So Nigeria's government should come and tell Nigerians the truth now that, oh, we are sorry, they were actually cool, and that the money that we are talking about that is allegedly embezzled by former governor and former minister Temipre Silva was actually the money that was used to sponsor the alleged coup. That's when Nigerians will begin to regard what this EFCC declaration of Temipre Silva, because Temipre Silva did not just leave office yesterday. When he was going into the office, the law says that you have to declare your asset. Nigerians will know how rich you are. And that when you are also leaving, you declare your asset and tell Nigerians, this period I stayed, this is what I had, and this is what I'm coming out for. So all these ones are supposed to have been published and Nigerians will know about it. No, we never heard all this. The news we now heard yesterday that Temipre Silva have been declared wanted because of money laundering. It's not because of money laundering. The coup that we heard that they are covering up.
Thankfully, there was no coup.
That they are just covering up is what led to this. It's not because of there was anything like money laundering. There's money laundering, but something now ignited this declaration.
It's quite unfortunate because when the EFCC, it was like when they declared Yaya Bello wanted, and everybody knew everybody knew where Yaya Bello was, and why they declaring him wanted
when they know where he was, who was keeping him.
Silva spokesperson has said, look, he traveled abroad for health
he said
issues.
He's on medical vacation.
They know where he is.
Yeah.
So why declare him wanted? Is this just in a bid to embarrass this person? Then also telling Interpol, the UK Met Police, the Canadian police, anywhere you see him, just carry him and return him to us.
We are embarrassing ourselves, not him. We are embarrassing ourselves as a nation because we are never serious. We only remember things when we are aggrieved, when that person has stepped on the toes of those people who are in power. If there was no coup mention, Temipre Silva would have. As at the time Temipre Silva left Nigeria for the medical vacation, was he intercepted at the airport? Was his passport confiscated and said, go back, you have a case behind you? Because the coup matter has not played up. He was abroad when the coup matter played up. When the coup matter played up, now they asked, okay, let us just quickly now start looking for how to actually make sure that what you mentioned about him. We only heard that there was a former governor from the south, or the southeast that was the sponsor of the coup. Before his name was now mentioned, before the final declaration we are hearing now. So forget about it. We are not embarrassing Temi Presiva. We are embarrassing ourselves because we are never a serious nation.
What do you think about this whole Ekweremadu situation? In about 1 or 2 minutes, some are saying, "Oh, President Tinubu wants to appeal to the southeast." But you know that when this issue happened, many southeasterners were even happy about it. They said they were not happy with him when he was Deputy Senate President. He did not do anything for them, and not just that they will not. For somebody who has been convicted of trying to harvest somebody's organ, even if that person is their brother or their son or their friend, they will not align with such a person. So if indeed that is the case for those people who believe that that is what it is, and President Tinubu wants to appeal to the southeast, is Ekweremadu the best way to go?
Choma, in our sister station this morning, I said it was politically motivated. There's nothing new about it. It's just a case of the biblical Pontius Pilate at the trial of Jesus Christ, when they say, do I give you Jesus? I give you Barabbas, the criminal. The Gentiles, the Jews and the Gentiles say, give us Barabbas, and rejected Jesus. So that's what you are saying. Igbos would have said, give us Nnamdi Kanu, and let Ekweremadu go. If it was going to be put in voting or in vote pop, and say, okay, whom among these two Igbo prominent men do you want us to release? Igbos would have preferred to get Nnamdi Kanu. We can't even
say who do you want us to release, because one is in the UK prison.
No. Or even
one is in Nigeria. So which one is more accessible?
Which one do we prefer?
Convicted. That the other one is still, the case is still in court.
If you want to look, who do you prefer among these two Igbo prominent men that you want us to assist you to get out or whatever? The Igbos would have said, we need Nnamdi Kanu, not Ekweremadu, who was there for 8 years as deputy president of Senate, and he never attracted anything good that will be of benefit to Nigerians. The matter that took him abroad, where he went to commit the offense that got him into jail, is just because there are no functional health facilities in this nation. And he was in a position. He was in a position. Even if it's not even in all part of Nigeria, he should have even attracted such to his own region. I say, in the east, if you have any kidney problem or any heart problem, there is a functional hospital in the eastern part of Nigeria that you can go. We are not saying that all these things must be in every part of this nation. We have 6 geopolitical zones. Why won't you say we have one in the east? Then, okay, if you have a eye problem or whatever, go to south. Then let us throw this thing around. And we know that they are functional and the government is in charge of it, and they are subsidized for Nigerians to be able to afford it. He never did. Then the law of karma now caught up on him, and Nigeria government is now having a jamboree and sending 2 high-powered delegate ministers. You're talking of Minister for Justice and Minister for Foreign Affairs to go and start looking at a case that was judged as a result of our failure in our system. That because we don't recognize whom we are, we don't think that Nigerians deserve a better life. That's where we cannot pay extra code, use Nigeria taxpayers' money, and pay them extra code for this trip. These 2 ministers to go and be talking of something that will be put behind us. I think it's a monumental waste and failure.
If the report about seeing how they can bring him back to Nigeria is true, some Nigerians are concerned that, look, if he should return to Nigeria, he just might escape justice. And also, what about the young man whose organs were meant to be harvested? What will be the safety and security of that young man if he comes to Nigeria?
I just pray that the UK government should keep that man as they've kept him, because if that man is back to this nation, his life is not safe. That's number one. And then number two, if he's brought back to this nation, his state has also become an APC state. Now, the next thing you will hear that he has decamped to APC, and you will now see crowd, you will now see jamboree, you will now see celebration. So every other thing about him will be dropped. That's even the reason why this delegation have been sent out. Now, before this delegation was sent out, remember that Peter Oba, the present governor of Enugu State, has been there for 2 years plus now. Nobody has remembered Ekweremadu. He just suddenly decamped, and Ekweremadu just suddenly thrown up now as somebody that is being remembered now, and Nigeria government is now sympathetic of his matter, which means that there is the hand of, this is the voice of Jacob and the hand of Esau. I'm seeing Peter Oba. I'm seeing Peter Oba's
hands in it.
Yes, he must be one of those people.
But what is Ekwemadu's political weight?
No. Ekweremadu has political weight. You will also even ask me, where was Peter Oba's camp before he became governor. Peter Obi has PDP, and Ekweremadu has gotten to that level of being at a Senate deputy Senate president on 2 tenure with PDP. He has that weight. He has that very solid weight, and Enugu State has been a PDP state since 1999 till 3 weeks ago or a month ago when we saw Peter Obi decamp. So somebody must have sold this idea to this government. It is not all about love. This government is not that they love Ekweremadu. It's all on political ground.
How does this make us look on the international scene? Just after Nigeria's independence celebration, the president pardoned a number of people who were convicted or accused of certain offenses. Many Nigerians were not happy with that, saying, oh, this list is filled with murderers, drug dealers, and people who have been convicted of acts of terrorism. And then the president recanted that. And now we are going to UK to go and try to bring out somebody that has been convicted of organ of all things.
Yeah.
And you know how people stay on the list for years. If you want to get an organ until there is a donor, you can be on the list for so many years. So this is something that they take very seriously. What does this do to Nigeria's image on the international scene with Nigeria now? Because Trump has already called Nigeria a disgraced nation.
It is not different from the language he called us, because we invited him. We brought that name upon ourselves. Very shameful. US is supposed to be look at the video of early 60s when the prime minister visited US. Look at the welcome innovation they gave him, that even the then president late Kennedy was even in the airport to welcome him. He had the opportunity of addressing the US Congress, and he was made an honorary citizen of 3 good US states: the Washington, the Chicago, and as well as New York. This was when US thought Nigeria was going to be like them, United States of America, as in North America. That was the same position they were looking at Nigeria to be as in Africa. Unfortunately, look at the trajectory today. They saw this country could be a country that will be galvanize the whole black race, and it's going to be the country that every black man in the world will be looking onto, as US is to North America. So also they saw Nigeria then to Africa. But look at the way we brought ourselves. We brought ourselves to non-entity that a country that once honored us in that manner is now calling us a disgraced nation and using other language that we cannot even use on radio, on air. That he has used to qualify us. The languages I'm talking about that Trump has used to qualify us. But when you have children who bring disrepute to a family, the family's name will be drawn in the mud. That's what we have had in the leadership of this nation since independence. So nothing different. So whatever name they call us, we will bear it because our leaders gave us those names. But we must fight it out. That's what we are seeing. Is it not the same America that is reminding us about insecurity in Nigeria now that you are not seeing the military is now even opening their websites for you to see what they are doing? Have you heard that before? They only come to tell us lies. Nigeria government is not telling us, oh, we are fighting insecurity. I even saw a video now that a GOC was in the church to go and talk to church people. Have we heard it before? Because we are just being reminded. The Nigerians are not happy that Boko Haram and ISWAP are not killing themselves. Oh, thank God. Then because we are very good at thanking God and praying in this nation, let it continue. Is that how it's supposed to be? We have missed our goals and respect in the Committee of Nations, Choma.
It's quite unfortunate, but this is where we draw the curtain on the World News at 12 this afternoon. Mr. Elvis Alemihele, thank you so much for joining me today. It's always a pleasure whenever we get to have these conversations.
It's my pleasure, Choma.
Thank you so much. You have been listening to the World News at 12 right here on Voice of the People, 90.3 FM. Just before we wrap up, let's take a look at the top stories again. You heard the troops are pounding terror bases in many states as Trump threatens military action. Babachi Lawal declares Tinubu's government not interested in fighting insecurity. Federal government pushes for Ekwerimadu's transfer to Nigeria. And the EFCC places Temipre Silva on FBI Interpol watch list over $14.8 million probe. And that is a wrap on the World News at 12 and Voice of the People, 90.3 FM. My name is Chioma Innocent. Good afternoon and thank you for listening.